You know, I think it's over 25 million people are on antidepressants now. Something's wrong here, folks. You know how many people are on statins, blood pressure drugs, cholesterol lowering drugs? This is insane. What you are subscribing to, if you think that that's normal, is that God fucked up when God created us. That God created us in his own image, yet we need a bunch of pills. What you're saying there is that you need the spell of pharmacopoeia, the witchery of pharmacopoeia to stay healthy, even though you were made in the image of the Creator? Please, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, there's a lot of truth to that passage that we are made in the image of the Creator. We have the spark of the divine within us. But we've fallen asleep within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, and we're not even aware of the fact that we're dreaming, and we think that we're correct about everything, and it's just insane, the con job that's been done on humanity. Start taking care of your health. Drink the medicinal mushroom teas. Take the shilajit. Get the magnesium in your system, ladies and gentlemen. Look into turkey tail. Start cleansing your tissues. Do a colloidal silver cleanse. Get your gastrointestinal system operating properly. Clean the tubing from your mouth to your anus. This is known as your alimentary tract. This is where you're exposed to 90% of your poisons, which you willingly consume. The air you breathe, the food you eat, and the water that you drink come into your mouth. And you willingly poison yourself. So many of the issues that people are experiencing in the form of symptoms, bad health, you name it, are a direct byproduct of not only eating and drinking and breathing the wrong things, but putting faith in the wrong people. Putting faith in people who want to inject you with a bunch of garbage. Putting faith in people who go to school, doctors, and get hardly any nutritional education. And the nutritional education that they do get is bogus, ladies and gentlemen. But you see what happens to doctors who become privy to the truth and start learning about natural measures, natural therapies. Oftentimes they just disappear. People who have spent their entire career dedicated to helping people, when they start spreading information about natural therapies, things like curcumin and all the different thousands, infinite number of ways that nature has given us to heal ourselves, oftentimes they commit suicide, or they're disappeared. They commit suicide, please, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means? When someone who, like 99% of the time when a figure commits suicide, if they were talking against the system, they were offed. They were offed. Call me crazy, but it's the truth. You see, just because you live in a bubble doesn't mean that I live in a bubble, and doesn't mean that I have to just subscribe to your bullshit and all your... You know, so many people will fight, kick, and scream to defend the status quo. So many people will fight, kick, and scream to defend the people who are putting them in chains, the people who are beating them, the people that are poisoning them. You people are the problem, largely. People are indeed the problem here. But I'm just amazed at what they've done to humanity. Just see what they've done to the males, especially, and turned them into these weak vessels without any spirit inside of them. And again, I'm not judging, I'm just noticing. Don't mistake my noticing of something that's very obvious. Don't equate that with judgment, because it's not. The fact that you don't see it means that you're probably swimming around in it. And if you're swimming around in it, it means that your blinders are still on. And if your blinders are still on, there's a good chance that you're just like all the other clones out here, ladies and gentlemen, who have all the dream-related technologies, all the astral technologies implanted in their astral body. Your subtle bodies are all infected with certain sicknesses. You see, the physical illnesses, largely, ladies and gentlemen, here in the Matrix, that's a byproduct of the stuff that happens on the subtle level. So it starts on a more spiritual level and takes place and finally anchors in the physical. So you bet there's spiritual infections. There's not just viruses and all this other nonsense inside the physical body. Your physical body is the solidification of all of the subtle bodies, subtle organizing energy fields that are keeping your monkey ass tethered to this dimension. It keeps your protoplasm and your molecules and your atoms and your cells all bound together. There are indeed technologies and sicknesses that are in your subtle bodies. So you get sick And oftentimes, true sicknesses have a spiritual relation or connection on some level. I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes they do. And you go to the doctor, and the doctor just looks at your symptoms and gives you a bunch of pills, and you blindly take them, and you complain to your family, and you get attention from being a victim, and poor you. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to return to nature. You need to listen to this message. I'm not going to say that. I'm not recommending you do anything. I'm just saying that looking at things from all angles, ladies and gentlemen, yields results, yields answers. Looking at things from all angles, not just subscribing to the first thing that, just because culture tells you that something is the way it is, you're just going to believe that without counter researching. Sure, put faith in the system. That's up to you, but I sure as hell don't, because ladies and gentlemen, I put my faith in the system for long enough. I know what the grass looks on both sides of the fence. I know what I used to feel like when I followed the system's little protocols with all the yearly checkups and the injections. I know what I felt like then, and I know what it's like on the other side of the fence. I jumped from the concrete over to the beautiful, lush, fucking lawn, ladies and gentlemen. The stuff that's on the other side of the fence is beautiful. It's an evergreen garden. It's a constant growth. It's called nature. It's called God. It's called having rights. It's called growing. Nature has powerful nootropic compounds that we can use to grow our consciousness. Real food, the herbs, the medicinal mushrooms, all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't just feed your body, it feeds your mind, because when you feed your body, you feed your mind. But when you go to the doctor, do you think the doctor asks about your diet? He might ask if you smoke, he might ask if you drink, he might ask about your stress, but does he really sit down with you, he or she, and do a thorough assessment on your entire life? If you've been exposed to heavy metals, if you have any, other, just tons of stuff going on. Excuse me, that didn't come out the right way. I think you catch my drift. Oftentimes when you go to a doctor, and I've been to multiple in the last, 12 months, because a loved one's been really ill and wanted to go through the mainstream to see what they, how the older generations are. But 9 out of 10 times, the doctor would come in the room and make eye contact for less than like a minute the whole time, and just stare at the computer while he stood up on his stand-up desk and just typed information into the computer. I'm sure you guys can relate. And this has been going on for years. Even 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago when I used to go often, the doctor would look at me in not even pay attention. He'd just sit and type on the computer and enter into a bunch of information into a fucking computer program. You are not a computer program. You are a living, sovereign entity, ladies and gentlemen. Stop being played. Stop being fooled by the system, and realize that you, and you only, are your own first and foremost healthcare insurance policy. You have got to take care of yourself. If you not only want to stay healthy, but if you want to keep yourself sharp and keep your mind open in this crazy toxic world, by default, due to the toxins here in this matrix, you have to be healthy just to be able to keep up with this onslaught of poisons coming into your system.
I wanted to personally thank you for watching my videos and contributing to the growth of my channel. I could not do this without you, and your interest in my content is truly what motivates me and fuels my passion for making these videos and spreading my message. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to remind you that this channel is a free educational tool that is listener supported, and if you would like to donate to my channel and donate to my cause, help make my life a little bit easier and help keep the lights on around here, you can do so by checking out the links in the description box below. There's a handful of not only ways to donate to my channel, but I also have links to different websites and different videos of mine, as well as my Amazon store, where you can check out a plethora of different health-related products that I use and recommend. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued interest in my message, and until next time, peace be with you all.